Falcons fans, something big is happening in Atlanta. This isn't just about a preseason game. This is about a storm building inside the locker room, a storm that could decide the future of this franchise. Forget the final score, because what we saw against the Titans wasn't just a loss. It was a warning. A warning about drama, about shifting power, and about a quarterback room that's starting to feel like a battlefield. The Falcons fell to Tennessee 23-20, but the scoreboard is the least important part of this story. What really matters is what's happening behind the scenes, and it's more explosive than anything the box score can tell you. Let's start with the headline everyone's whispering about inside Atlanta's building: the quarterback drama. Kirk Cousins, the man Atlanta signed to a $180 million contract, is no longer acting like the face of this franchise. He stood on the sideline in team gear, helmet off, and body language told the whole story. Cousins is checked out. He knows Michael Penix Jr. is the future, and the Falcons aren't even trying to hide it. But here's the twist. It's not just Penix pushing Cousins out. There's another name rising: Easton Stick. At first, Stick was just supposed to be a camp arm, a placeholder. Now, he's turning into a serious threat. In just 2 weeks of preseason, he's proving he can manage the game, stay calm under pressure, and move the chains when it matters. Against the Titans, Stick threw for 173 yards with a touchdown, and while he had one interception, it came only a week after his near-perfect performance against the Lions, where he went 15 of 18 for 149 yards and a score. That's not just solid. That's a quarterback making a statement: I belong here. And here's the crazy part. This isn't even an official QB competition yet. But if Stick keeps this up, it might turn into one very quickly. Atlanta's front office has to be asking, why keep Cousins around if he's unhappy, expensive, and becoming a distraction? Stick's time backing up Justin Herbert in Los Angeles gave him valuable lessons, and now at 29, he looks like a quarterback stepping into his prime. Every snap feels like he's fighting for a future, and right now, he's winning. The offense as a whole is still uneven. It flashes potential but hasn't fully clicked yet. One surprising bright spot, though, is wide receiver David Sills. In just 6 snaps, he earned the highest PUF grade on the team with a 90.8. 2 catches for 13 yards doesn't sound like much on paper, but the efficiency, the reliability, that's the kind of hidden gem play coaches notice. This is bigger than preseason football. This is the future of Atlanta being written right in front of us. One snap, one throw, and one quarterback decision at a time. So let me ask you, Falcons fans, if you had to choose right now, would you stick with Cousins or ride the momentum with Easton Stick? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know where your confidence is heading. Momentum is a powerful thing, and right now a few Atlanta underdogs are grabbing it with both hands. These are names Falcons fans need to circle, because if they keep playing like this, they're not just camp bodies, they're going to steal roster spots. Let's start with Nathan Carter. This undrafted rookie running back out of Michigan State came in with almost no hype. But against Tennessee, he looked like he belonged in the NFL. Carter carried the ball 9 times for 63 yards, including a breathtaking 43-yard touchdown where he showed pure speed, patience, and vision. It wasn't just one run, it was a statement. That kind of burst instantly makes coaches sit up and take notice. And here's the reality: if Carter keeps trending upward, he could easily leapfrog Carlos Washington Jr. on the depth chart. That's how quickly things change when you seize your moment. Now, Chris Blair, this guy is rewriting his career in real time. After proving himself in the UFL with the DC Defenders, Blair came to Atlanta hungry, and it shows. Through 2 preseason games, he already has 6 catches for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. Against the Titans, he exploded again with 3 grabs for 78 yards and a score. This isn't just a player fighting for the last roster spot. Blair is making the argument that he deserves a real role in this offense. He's fast, he's tough, and he's reliable when it matters. If he keeps this up, Atlanta will have no choice but to make him part of the regular rotation. And then there's a name that might shock you: Lamar Jackson. No, not the Ravens superstar. This Lamar Jackson is a defensive back fighting for his NFL life, and so far, he's refusing to let go. Against the Titans, he posted 8 tackles and a pass defended. For a player who's been battling to just stay in the league, that's the kind of stat line that changes minds. The Falcons' secondary is desperate for depth, and Jackson's timing could not be better. He's playing like a man who knows this might be his last shot, and he's making the most of it. But while individual stories are shining, the defense as a unit took a step backward. In Week 1 against Detroit, the pass rush looked relentless. Against Tennessee, it faded. Yes, there were bright spots. Zach Harrison's 72.3 grade and Simeon Barrow Jr. 89.5 grade both popped off the screen. And James Pierce Jr. is still proving he can disrupt plays, leading the team with 4 pressures and even forcing a crucial interception. But here's the problem. His grade actually dropped from 75.1 to 68.7. Why? The tape shows technique slipping, power without precision. That's the kind of detail coaches won't ignore. Other defenders like Nick Kubitz and Arnold Ebiketie showed flashes, with Ebiketie still riding the momentum from his Player of the Game honors in Week 1. But consistency is the issue. For every standout, there's a collapse. And the biggest disappointment came from cornerback Mike Ford, who posted an abysmal 33.6 grade, his second straight week as Atlanta's lowest-rated player. That's not just a slump. That's a serious problem. This is the paradox of Atlanta's preseason. Individuals are emerging as stars, but as a unit, the defense isn't yet clicking. And if they don't figure it out soon, the storylines of breakout rookies might get buried under the weight of defensive letdowns. So what do you think, Falcons fans? Which underdog impressed you the most? Nathan Carter, Chris Blair, or Lamar Jackson? And do you trust this defense to find consistency before Week 1? Let me know your take in the comments. Sometimes preseason struggles are just growing pains. But when they keep happening over and over, they turn into warning signs. And for some players on this Falcons roster, those warnings are screaming louder every week. Take Mike Ford. 2 straight weeks at the bottom of Atlanta's grades. Another shaky performance against Tennessee. For a veteran fighting to hang on to his roster spot, this isn't just a slump, it's a collapse. Right now, Ford is losing the battle to prove he belongs on the final 53. And then there's J.D. Bertrand, the rookie linebacker who came into camp with promise, but hasn't found his rhythm. Against the Titans, Bertrand allowed 35 yards in coverage, including 20 yards after the catch, and finished with a brutal 36.4 grade. Practicing against stars like Bijan Robinson should be a learning experience, but instead it's exposing just how far Bertrand has to go. He has one last shot against Dallas to flip the script, but the clock is ticking, and fast. All these moving pieces, the quarterback drama, the roster bubble battles, the underdogs rising while others fall, point to one undeniable truth. The Falcons are still figuring out who they are, and the decisions they make now will define their identity heading into 2025. The defense told the same story. Against Detroit, they were hungry, disruptive, aggressive. Against Tennessee, they looked slow, reactive, disconnected. Yes, there were bright spots. Simeon Barrow Jr. 89.5 and D. Alford 82.6 brought fire and consistency. But it wasn't enough to cover the cracks. Veterans like Contavious Street and Ford dragged the unit down, while Bertrand's struggles once again highlighted Atlanta's biggest defensive concern: linebacker depth. It's the same issue that has haunted this team for years. And the rookies? They're flashing effort, but not enough progress. Billy Bowman Jr. improved slightly, bumping his grade from 59.7 to 66.1 and showing stronger run defense at 61.1. Good signs, but still bubble territory. Xavier Woods slipped overall to 55.3 despite some improvements against the run. These are not the leaps Atlanta needs if it wants rookies to contribute early. Braylon Trice finally got back on the field, but failed to register a single pressure. His saving grace? A strong 75.2 run defense grade, second best on the team, which might just buy him another week to prove himself. The coaching staff is watching every snap with a microscope, knowing these decisions will echo into the regular season. For some, next Friday's preseason finale against Dallas isn't just another game. It's an audition. It's a final exam. And for a few players, it could be the last time they wear an NFL uniform. So I'll throw it to you, Falcons fans. Who's earned a spot on your final 53-man roster? Which underdog deserves to stay? And which veteran would you cut today? Drop your takes in the comments. This is the kind of debate that will shape Atlanta's season.